What's happening, peoples? What's happening? You know, um, today I'm doing a Coolvari Achilles. It's a natural medium smoke. It's not going to be overbearing. So if you're looking at this for something that's going to be over the top, punchy, full of flavor type of deal, it's not going to be that. It's just going to be a consistent, really, really smooth um, oakiness smoke to you. So it's not going to be something that's going to be like, burning your tongue as it go through, or it's going to kind of, tickle, all that kind of stuff. No, it's not going to do that. But this would be great with as a start of the morning cigar or a midday cigar. Uh, After you've eaten dinner and you wanted something a little bit more full body, I probably wouldn't do this, but this would be great for friends that maybe not, that don't do a lot of smoking and they want to come over and they want to sit back and they want to enjoy a good smoke with you. I would recommend it. It's a great price point on it. Coolvar has always been a great price point. They range anywhere between $6 for the Bonita Ventura, all the way up to maybe 13, $14. But this one here is about 10. And that's in Georgia. So this is about 10 in Georgia. So it varies based upon taxes and which state you're in. But it's a great smoke, great draw to it. As the fire hits it and you take in on it, the leaf actually kind of loosens up, so it becomes more of a flavor or more of a smoke uh, principle to it. So I would recommend it. I would recommend a lot of stuff on that line. The Cyclops. Once I said the Bonita Ventura. One of my favorites is the Alexander the Great. And if you're able to find Coolvari Alexander the Great, you got to try it. It's a great cigar. It's a great cigar. But a lot of this stuff is going to be medium. You can actually do this with a Scotch, because the Scotch is light. It's not as heavy as a bourbon, or not as sweet as a whiskey, or not as piercing as a tequila, unless you're doing an agape. But it's a solid smoke, especially for the price point. I want to sit back and reach out. A lot of times we get caught up in situations where we're having to explain a lot of the feelings that we have, and feelings are a situation where anyone can take it any kind of way that they when you say it, they can take it any kind of way. And I've always been a student of conversation, meaning that I want to listen to what it is that you're saying, and I'm going to give you both scenarios of it, because a lot of times people say things that they know it can go both ways, and they'll say it with the mind frame of, well, if you never say anything on it, they can always say, well, I told you that. Remember when I told you that? And you'll be stuck there sitting like, what the hell is going on? And they can say, well, I told you that. That's how I feel, and this is how, I want to be, and blah, 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 blah. And so sometimes we may overlook things, and I think sometimes we don't ask the right questions. And then sometimes people get offended if you take it the wrong way. If you take it and show them the other side of it, they're going to always say, that's not what I meant. You should know me better than that, and you should always take it from a positive standpoint. But remember, For you to always take it as a positive standpoint, that means that the person that you're dealing with also has to take it in a positive standpoint also. So nobody's perfect. So if I come to you and I say something to you, don't jump down my throat and automatically go negative, because you're taking it as a you're taking it not as a positive. You know, take it as the glass is half full instead of half empty. And I got to work on that myself. Because sometimes, somebody will say something, and I'll ponder on it, and I'll be like, okay, did they say what I think they're trying to say? But I usually ask a question right behind it. Hey, I don't want to take this the wrong way, so can you explain what it is that you're saying so that I can get a better understanding of it? A lot of the problems that we have, and I'm to blame for it also, it's not being able to listen effectively to what a person is saying to you. We have to place ourselves in position where when someone says something, we identify and listen to what it is that they're saying. If you have any questions or concerns, ask the right questions. That way, because a person might be saying something they don't even realize the magnitude of what they're getting ready to say. I'm pretty sure a person that sits back and say, well, I can find somebody that can do this for me. I think sometimes people don't realize the damage that statement will make, because we might be trying to say, I'm really trying to let you know I could get whatever I want outside, but I'm dealing with you. And I choose to deal with you. But the other person can take it as if, well, go on about your business if that's what you want to do. I don't want to hear about the fact that you got options. I think a lot of times some females, they want to be the only ones with options. They want to be the only one that can say, whatever you won't do, another man will. But the flip side of that, and we all know the saying, what your lady won't do, there's someone else that will. And especially if you're a man of financial stability, mental stability, carries himself with the swag, meets all the numbers and boxes that whatever it is that a lady wants to have, he meets and checks all of those boxes. Understand that his options are going to be a little bit different. They're going to be a little different, so, and it can go for a very long time. And yes, I have a mother. I have a mother that we've had our conversations throughout the years. We've had our miscommunications and misunderstandings and things of that nature. But the thing that I try to do is I try to repair and restore relationships, especially now that you reach a certain plateau in life, and as once you start going to more burials than you do birthdays, something in you should click, and something in you should be able to say, you know what, my time is valuable and my time is limited. What can I do to show the person that is important to me, or the people that is important to me, that, hey, whatever we had, I done got past that. Let's work on where we are for the remainder of the time. How are we going to finish it out? Because when it comes down to having that entry in your book of life, the last thing that you want to do is have a situation where as someone can judge or question what it is and why didn't you try to move forward to repair. You say that you're an adult. You say that you move in an adult way. You say that you're not going to hold anything against them because you don't want anyone to hold anything against you. So you can forgive a situation. You might not necessarily forget, but you can forgive a situation, and you can be around a person that is brought something on you or hurt you or anything kind of way. You can still be around them, and that's, I think, to me, that's a part of healing. When you know that you can be around a person that has hurt you, and you are not intimidated or you're not upset at that person being around you. That's the first sign that you're healing, that you've healed, or you're going through the healing process. We make a lot of changes in our life. Sometimes we make changes for people that, be honest with you, they don't deserve it. But you got to look at it like this. How many times have someone changed for you and you didn't deserve it? You didn't deserve the love that they gave you. You didn't deserve the understanding that they gave you. Hey, I'm human. We all have done things in our life that we're not proud of. You know, it's part of growing. But what we should try to do is correct the mistakes that we've made. We should try to correct the pain that we put on people. And if we say that we love them, why would we want to continue to hurt someone that we say that we love? That's a good question. You know, let me know in the comments what you think, if you got an answer. If the person that you say you love, why would you continue to hurt them? And if a person say that they love you, why would they continue to hurt you? It is what it is. Life is not easy. It's not complicated. We make it complicated. I'll be the first to admit, I mean, my cousin has told me a lot of times, I'm hard. I'm hard on relationships. I'm hard on what I expect. I'm hard on a person that's involved in my life on a personal standpoint. I'm hard because I expect. And I'm going to just say this, my grandparents raised me. And my grandmother raised me to be strong, hardworking. I always refer to my grandmother, but both my grandmother and grandfather. I want to make sure that I give my grandfather kudos for being the type of man that he was. This was a man that go to work 6 days a week, never asked for anything. He came in and he bust his tail 6 days a week. He worked at a rock quarry and hard labor job. And he would go in 6 days a week, diligently, regardless if he was sick, regardless if he didn't feel good, he went in. My grandmother, she made sure that his lunch was packed. When he got home, he had a home-cooked meal on the table. And this is something else that we did. Everybody ate at the same time. It was none of that, well, I'll get something later, or it was none of that. You ate at the same time. When he sat down and eat, you better be ready to eat, because if not, you're not eating. And she was a strong woman and didn't take no smack off of no one. I come from a very large family. My grandmother had 13 children. And me and my people, we get together and we talk about back in the days when we used to have Christmases and Thanksgivings over at the house. And we had so many people that were coming over. People had to come in shifts. We had the older generation, they came through early. They'll be there around 11 and they'll stay till about 3:34. And then the younger crowd would come in around 4 and they'll stay there till about 1 o'clock in the morning. And it was just a constant. And the thing about it was a family. We don't do that now. I can't even, think about people having conversations at the dinner table. Just talking. Seeing how their day went. How was class? How was school? How was work? How was home? If you're blessed enough to the point whereas, you don't have to work, you're at home. How was your day? Those are the things that we don't do anymore. We don't sit down with our children to eat and have conversation. We don't engage when it comes down to trying to help and be there for our children. We allow our children to be disrespectful. We allow for our children to say anything that they want to say, be involved in adult conversations. And at what point are we going to say, well, I remember, I never raised my kids like you raised me. But guess what? You survived. And the one thing that you had structure and you had discipline. You might not didn't like someone to discipline you. But a life without discipline is going to be a life of heartbreak and disappointment, because you're not going to get everything you always want. That's the sign of a spoiled brat. When you get a situation where somebody always wants something that they want and how they want it, that's spoiled. And if you're spoiled, or if it's about you, it's never about the family. Because in family, you have to take yourself out of the equation. You have to take yourself out of the situation where it's, oh, well, I need to be happy. No. It's not about your happiness. It's about your children's happiness. Well, so I'm supposed to just work? Yeah. When you become a parent, yeah. You're supposed to sacrifice. You're supposed to not think about yourself in that aspect. Nobody ever said life is going to be easy. Nobody never said life is going to be easy. But the one thing that we are missing right now is that generation that sat back and told us when, baby, sit down, let me talk to you for a minute. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but maybe look at it this way. We don't have that. And you can tell that based on social media right now. We don't have that. We don't have the people that are sitting down trying to have conversations and steer people in the right direction and put people in positions where they can be successful. A lot of times we want them to be right there in the same situation we're in, the same barrel that we're in, so it can justify us doing the stuff that we've done in our life. Oh, see, I know that. I saw that. I know you weren't going to never be nothing. Why? Because you ain't nothing. So understand, let's get it together. Let's get it together. We're getting ready. I don't think people understand what's happening right now. We are at a very critical stage. Is life. We have on one hand a guy that is older in age, did a lot of things in his past, and not necessarily it benefited us as a people. And then you got one who just got 34 counts of felony against him. 34 counts of a felon. And we're trying to justify that lifestyle. Now the average person that's working a job are going to really fall under both categories, Democrat and Republican, because there are certain things that, as a working class person, as a working man, that you want to try to hold back on, but then there are certain programs that is needed, and it's the sacrifice of the community. And sometimes it's not about your household and per se. It's about being able to say, hey, we can help out the little people that are struggling right now. Because the last thing that you don't want is to create a situation where the person feel like they have no option, no other option. Because when a person feel like they have no other option, please believe them going to be the cats them going to be the people that come up in your house while you sleep or while you're not there, are trying to break into your car, rob you, hurt you, maim you, kill you, whatever the situation may be. Well, I'm sorry, unlive you. And that's a bad space. That's a bad space. So sometimes people need help. And if you got it to give, help a person out. You can't take it with you. You can't take it with you. I know a lot of people feel like, well, I'm not going to sit here and build all of this to try to, have someone else enjoy the fruits of my labor. But that's a part of being a parent. That's part of being a responsible adult. Because what you're supposed to do is teach your children so that they can have productive lives and don't make the same mistakes that you have. I had a conversation with my son yesterday, and it was needed. I needed to have that conversation with my son. And he's in the service and he's doing his thing. It took a little while to kind of figure out what he was doing, but I had a conversation with him, and he said, well, he had signed up for a certain amount of time. He said, well, I'm just going to do that time. After having a conversation with him yesterday, he's looking at doing it full term. Get his education, get his skill level, get the experience from work, and now he can come out and become a productive citizen in society. Have a family, teach his family, and teach his grandchildren, and they teach their, and that's how we continue growing. That's how we make ourselves eternal, by being a part of our children's lives and creating memories that they can sit back and tell their children. I sit around with my people, and we'll talk about old times when times was hard, but we still had fun. We still smiled. And I wouldn't trade that for nothing in the world, because it gave me character and it made me the man that I am today. So all situations that may be bad may have a silver lining at the end if you're willing to learn from what it is that you're going through. Was this something that was self-inflicting, or was it something that was just out of my control? Or was it something that me being in the wrong space at the wrong time, or me bringing somebody into my life that I should not have brought it in because I didn't vet them? These are a lot of things to think about. And I appreciate you guys listening to the words that I say. Hopefully you get a chance to try the Achilles from Cultivari. And today, I'm doing, I've talked about this before. And I'm going to be honest with you. It's just something about this scent that is, it's just bananas. You've seen it on TikTok. You've seen it on Facebook. You've seen it on this. Hawas. It has a sweetness to it. It doesn't take a lot. And it is something that every time that I have it on, somebody always stop me and say, "Hey man, what is that you got on?" And usually, it's other, it's ladies. And say, "What is that you have on?" And I just laugh because I already know that it's that kind of thing, So, if you get an opportunity to try it. Especially if you can get it from a reputable person, because what you got to look at is that some of the stuff that you get online, I've learned to identify that it's watered down or it has more alcohol in it and then sometimes when you get it, it doesn't smell the same. It smells differently on people. Then, and there's two parts to that. One part of that is that if it has more alcohol content in it, that means it's not going to last long. It's going to evaporate. The smell is going to evaporate and it's going to move away. It might hit you right then, but you end up having to spray it 2 or 3 times throughout the day. The other is your body chemistry. If you're doing a lot of drinking, you're not eating the right foods, you don't have enough water in your diet, that clogs up your pores, and it's not going to come out. It's not going to be the same smell on you. So take those 2 things into consideration. Realize what it is. And, we're getting ready to get some rain here. It's thundering. Saw some lightning. But, enjoy a good smoke. Enjoy a good scent. Holler at your boy. If you got any questions or concerns, comments, put them down. I appreciate you having the time to share this moment with me. Smoke well, my friends. Enjoy.